What's up, RC? Apollo, Smoke. Kamikaze. Frogwell Nickel. Oh god, what the heck is going on? What's up, Vix? Gambilo. Ace Key. Ricochet. NBL. Lightning Sam. Random Tall Guy. Teddy Graham. Lydia. Oh god. Yeah, what's up, Sunny your Fish? I don't really know why that's happening. Oh my god, it's getting... Oh god, it's actually getting worse now. What the heck is going on? Sup, Edgar? Yeah, for some reason YouTube's really acting up at the moment for some stupid reason. Yeah, honestly though, I think my Wi-Fi is like actually dying. The weird thing though, it usually doesn't, I'm not saying it usually does this, but it usually doesn't do this, but oh god. It's getting worse. Give me a second. finally leveled out. I didn't even realize my mic was muted, to be honest. Did not realize that. It's finally going down. It's at 39 right now. So Ivan, Nicholas, German Empire, to Killer, Mr. Yellow, Thomas, Kamikaze. I'm not too sure who I've actually announced when my mic was muted, so Gaming Master, the Trending. I think that's it. Nailable. It's going down. It's doing better, like much better actually. The frame rate is still pretty bad, but well, it's actually going down quite a bit, so this should be good. It ended? Why did it end? It shouldn't have ended. What? Like it says perfect. What? I'm so confused. So, Soy Boy, Bobby, Dale. So, Raffy. I know, but the stream quality is fine, so. Or, like, not fine, but it's getting better, and somehow it still kicked people out for some reason. So, Austin. Like, I haven't dropped any frames lately. Like, not even one, for some reason. And the bitrate is perfectly fine, and my stream quality says it's good quality. So, Jonathan Hall. It's because I'm on Peaceful, and I have Respiration 3. Oh, I'm just not close enough. Or I was too close, I mean. I'm not surprised that they're in lockdown, to be honest. It's Devil's Boy. Let's see a Ricochet. A little pizza boy. What's that, Runwa? I'm not drowning because I have Respiration 3 and I'm on peaceful as well. I'm mainly just trying to look at the chat. But yeah, I am reasonably tired. I really don't know why either. Sup, Koa? Helped quite a bit actually. Well, I wouldn't say I'm up all night doing this whatsoever. To be honest with you. See what RC. I am 19. See ya, Ash. Some Bayou Cougars. Hey. What's up, walk? Thank you. What's up, Julian? Yes, I did. I did drink water. To AJ. What's up, Razor? What's up, Brayden? Oh, I'm really glad the internet finally stopped though. The map is right in front of you, Space. Well, sort of. Here, I'll just do this. There you go. I don't really watch any shows actually. I've been sort of just listening to books, to be honest with you. What's up, Pie Guy? What's up, Leon? Like, well, the one I'm reading right now is 48 Laws of Power, or listening to at least. I'm only like 4 hours into it or something like that, so. Let's see if I can find other books to read, to be honest, as well. You don't actually need money. You can buy with. Actually, no, you need. Never mind. You need monthly subscription. But if you do get Audible for monthly subscription, you can just you can get credits to get free books, which you get like 1 credit or something like that. No, 4 credits a month, I think. Which is pretty good for me, to be honest with you. Because it's not like I read books constantly, which I may in the future, but you never know. There's just so much information in some of these books. There's so much extra information. I may just summarize some of these books, to be honest with you, just because there's so much extra information that I don't actually need. Sort of have better eyesight. I don't know what you mean by better eyesight. It's kind of generic. Do you mean like hand-eye coordination? If that was the case, I would have like amazing hand-eye coordination from playing rhythm games constantly. 250 books, jeez. It's just really hard to read nonfiction sometimes just because there's so much extra information that I don't actually need. I just want the concepts behind them other than all the examples and extra information about stuff like that. I may just do that, to be honest with you. If I have a good understanding of each of the laws, I guess, of just an example, if I have a good understanding of each of the concepts, I'll just move on to another book. Alright, see you, Mr. Yellow. Interesting. So 1 subscriber with no vids. To be fair, there's some weird perception when it comes to how people perceive the world. To be perfectly honest with you. It's a lot of sand. I mean, come on, it's not gonna like. I can't get this within a day. Think about last section, how long that took. It took 25 hours to place all that sand. It should take like a quarter of it, so like 6 hours potentially. I think 6 hours straight though. There's a lot of odd perceptions when it comes to how people should view the world compared to what it's actually viewed. So SPC. I can kind of elaborate on it. So pretty much, I think people, when it comes to views on the world, like have this weird negative view. Not even towards like current events, I guess. Obviously, media kind of does that for you. At least for many people. Even though you should stop looking at the media constantly, be honest with you. It warps your perception. Is that Neon Snake? Yes, I will. When it comes to personal views, this is one that's a little bit interesting. Sup, James? It feels weird. Well, it doesn't feel weird because don't forget, I was in single player screen for like 2,000 hours, so I mean, I adjusted to it very quickly. It does help though. Thank you. Still don't know how to say your name. The personal perception of the world is interesting because I think many people, when it comes to how the world is against them and stuff like that. Obviously, each type, personality types, again, have their own views on the world. But I think a specific temperament, which all SJ types specifically, when it comes to world perception, sort of in a way have a Ruth. Okay. Shoot, what was I gonna mention? Oh yeah, there's one thing that could solve a lot of the I think people put themselves a little bit too high up when it comes to standards of people. They just don't understand how other people either view them or how society just doesn't like people above them. Or at least above your abilities to do things, if that makes sense. It's humility, pretty much. Humility is the reason why, or arrogancy is the reason why people view the world as it's against them. I wonder why. It's because the world is against arrogant people. And if you are arrogant towards what you do, or at least the most arrogant side of you comes out to other people, they're gonna try to bring you down. And people wonder why the world would be against them. But if you just oh yeah, definitely. I would say it's not just, it's specific parents, so it's not all parents, I would have to say. Generally speaking, it's, actually, yeah, it's most, I would have to say most parents, but not all of them, to a degree. Mainly because their parents told them about the standards, and those parents raised them like that, and then those parents raised them like that. Yeah, you get the idea. But you have your own personal view, like your own type. Every type has their own view on the world. But you also have societal views that are by nurture versus nature. The nurture view is like how society warps perception of people in general. Obviously, you can break out of that if you don't follow what society does constantly 24/7, but oh, sorry, not what they do, but their standards. Because obviously you already know what's happening. Like 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Financial issues are one of the biggest problems in the U.S. Debt, college debt, mistakes like that. Because everybody follows each other. But if you just don't follow them, it kind of changes your perspective just a little bit, if that makes sense. Those are the standards that, but that's not counting. Shoot. What was I talking about? I was reading the chat. It's a mixture, definitely a mixture. Nurture versus nature. Nature defines who you are as a person yourself. It can influence a lot of behaviors and just, yeah, just mainly stuff like that. Nurture definitely also influences the way you behave. Also, nurture can affect nature to a degree. It's really hard to explain this one, but I can explain it later. It won't. Okay, wait. Nurture doesn't really affect the nature part. Like you're still gonna be. You still have your four sides of your mind. You still have your ego and stuff like that. You're still that person, but it can influence the way you transition into your four sides of your mind. There's even like different states of each of the sides of the mind, like a thrival versus survival version of each of the sides of the mind dependent on how you were raised and stuff like that. But you can break out of them yourselves if you know your type. Obviously, you need to know your type and the science behind it, but um, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Um, like you can break the perception of other people, external factors versus internal factors. Using pure internal factors, you can break the external factors to a degree. Hmm, that's hard for me to say actually. If I had to be any type, generally you want to be your subconscious. Be honest with you. It's kind of the type you want to be naturally. But if I had to be any type, I would probably be. I know people always say like, um, oh yeah, you should like your type no matter what and stuff like that. Well, it's like yeah, but if you want to at least have some fun with it, then um, but yeah, if I could be any type, I'd probably be an ISTP. Out of all the types. That was actually the one type I thought I was. To be fair though, my subconscious is an ESTP, so I guess that's a thing. Um, I wouldn't say happy thoughts, to be honest with you. It would be more like wise thoughts, I guess, more than happy. Because happiness can create foolishness if you don't balance it correctly, obviously. INTP is a good one. I know a few INTPs actually. It's kind of crazy. I do like my type though. To be honest, even with FI Critic, it's still it's still good. Too bad we're technically not one with ourselves. Because our minds are disintegrated. Why did I just do that? Too bad for that. I mean, he can, but I don't know. Kind of a weird choice. I'm really not paying attention, to be honest with you. What's up, JXP? What's up, Ben? What's up, Sim? Oh, that was a nice choco box. Are you serious? My subconscious type is ESTP. It is a personality thing. It's analytical psychology or depth psychology. Carj. Blah. God, his name is so hard to say for some reason. I don't know his name, but his whatever. What's up, sleep demon? I know yours is INFP. Your subconscious type is an INFP. You actually had psychology for class? That's interesting. Or at least in middle school. No, not you. Brayden. Brayden's an ESTJ. His subconscious is an INFP. I wonder what you learn in high school class for psychology. It's probably like super basic things, to be honest. Probably some very unimportant things, to be honest with you. I've actually looked up college classes for psychology. They are there's some very unnecessary things, like you have no reason to even know it. I can't believe I'm already at 140. It's pretty insane. Same here, honestly, except Coasting Dragon. I never even learned psychology till now. To be fair, college system is very inefficient anyways, so. I think just the way school system learns, the way they teach in schooling, it's very inefficient. It's just so one-dimensional. It only benefits a few people, to be honest with you. I mean, it benefits quite a few people, don't get me wrong, but like, some people do benefit more from college, or that education system more than others. Some garlic bread. It's only inefficient because of all the extra classes generally. What? And just the way they structure it is kind of inefficient as well. Like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not the worst thing ever, but still. Like, obviously there's like engineering and stuff like that. I just also don't like the fact that how something backy, blocky. Also, another thing is just not even just like the structure's not super inefficient, but it's also some lightning sound. I just think just the way they teach as well is very unstructured, or too structured in my opinion. I mean, I think it's just because there's so many students, though. That's kind of a problem. There's just too many people to teach on a more individual, or a more, I guess, individual person level, I guess, because people learn differently, obviously. That's literally proven by the types. Honestly, I would totally have to say cardio is probably the most important thing you could do, to be honest with you. Like, there's a point of actually, like, getting muscle, like, actually, gaining, yeah, just gaining muscle from weights and stuff like that, but I think just cardio in general does both of those to a certain degree. It tones and it kind of helps with, it helps a ton with cardio, obviously, like your lungs, cardiovascular system. I think it lowers blood pressure as well. Oh yeah, endurance is probably the best, or at least a good mixture of both is actually the best, to some degree at least. I mean, I could just survive off of swimming if I wanted to be honest with you. Swimming and like climbing would actually be something that's really fun. I would love to do. I'm fairly strong. I mean, I'm not like, I'm more lean than anything, to be honest with you. I mean, I did cross-country track, um, swimming. Actually, no, I didn't really do too much swimming till like 2 years ago. I did cross-country track for 7 years, and I did weights, which even though that really wasn't too necessary because of how much cardio I did. Um, and then I started swimming around 2 or 3 years ago, and now I just do Beat Saber, to be honest with you, and some swimming. 'Cause obviously, you know, VR, especially something like Beat Saber, absolutely can kill you. Not in a literal sense, just physically. To be fair, my wrist kind of hurt right now, though. That's kind of why I haven't been doing it much. I know when I swam, I think it was sophomore year, I swam like, at some point I swam like 8 hours a day. I had basically godlike cardio without running. It's crazy how much of a difference cardio actually makes just for running. It's crazy, like, it's absolutely insane. Like, even without any running whatsoever before cross country, I somehow still did really well just off of pure cardio. Shit, what am I doing? It's right there. Wait, oh. Forgot. Honestly, when it comes to losing weight, it's literally the simplest thing. I mean, there's a point of eating healthy. Obviously, that's one thing. But the core of losing weight is it's literally just eat less to a degree. I mean, you don't want to like starve yourself. Eat less, exercise. Pretty much, that's really about it. And obviously stretching and stuff like that. Drink water. No caffeine. No sugar. That's pretty much it. Sorry, let me rephrase that. No refined sugars. Pretty much it's eat probably healthier than you're eating right now. I don't know. It depends on how healthy you're actually eating. If you're eating healthy, then you're fine. Eat less. Exercise. No sugars, and no caffeine. That is kind of true though. You can balance out weights with cardio. It's not as worth it in my opinion, because of the fact that cardio. If you do cardio, you basically cannot gain muscle. Trust me on that one. It's really hard to. If you want to gain muscle, just stick to gaining muscle. Do sprints if you have to. Do something quick. Don't do anything long distance if you're gonna do weights whatsoever. It's actually gonna slow you down. It's actually a double negative. Or just saying negative in general. Honestly, here's the thing about the diets. Figure out your body type first before you even start a diet. Do that first. Don't follow a system unless you actually know what's good for your body. I think people make too many of those mistakes, to be honest with you. Honestly, if you get the right coach, I think cross country could definitely be the most brutal of all the sports when it comes to practice. Especially when you jump from a coach that kind of knows what he's doing, or he, whatever, knows what they're doing, to like a person who like actually knows what they're doing. My god, I wish I would have stayed in. That would have been amazing, but too bad I had knee problems. I can't really run that much. It's really frustrating. Like, it's brutal. Going from running like 2 or 3 miles a day to running 8 400-meter repeats on the track running at like 85 seconds. Yeah. My god, that is painful. Do mind you, that's like the start of the practices. Or sorry, not start of the practices, start of the season. Or before the season. That's a huge difference compared to what we used to do. Caffeine is really bad for you, to be honest with you, when it comes to training. Actually, it's not really good for you, period, to be honest with you. In any shape or form, caffeine really just isn't that good for you. Like, it really is not good for you in any way possible, shape, or form. I can even do it on a cognitive basis, to be honest with you. It's not even good for you mentally, especially training, when you're training. I know my friend drank some caffeine when he was racing, one of his meets, at one of the meets. I think I even told him not to drink and he still drank it. Or something like that. I think I've mentioned it before, I still didn't do it for some reason. And it screwed with his mind during the race. Like, he could not concentrate whatsoever. Like, the problem with it is the fact that, like, not only can it mess with your mind to a degree, because it fires more chemicals in your mind faster because you're working out. Also, it does preemptive adrenaline into your body as well. Oh yeah, I did notice that. The last stream was for 2020. That adrenaline actually prevents you from I forgot who said this. I'll have to look back into it. It was like cortisol and cortisol and adrenaline, I think, were the two chemicals that can prevent you from losing weight as well. You can't even develop cognitively either through caffeine. Just because of the fact that it takes that fear away in your mind. You have to get over that fear yourself through your subconscious, because it puts you in your subconscious. That's kind of a problem. If you can't develop it yourself, you for some reason use caffeine, that's where that rush comes from. Not even just adrenaline either. It comes from that fear taken away. If that makes sense. I just don't find it necessary, to be honest with you. Like, I really don't find it necessary. You can wake up in different ways. You can literally wake up with water. If you have to, get some honey. Even honey isn't even that bad, as long as it's natural honey, obviously. If people just use it to wake up, there are different ways to wake up than just honey. Oh, sorry, not just caffeine. Like, I don't exactly avoid it entirely, but like, I very, actually, I don't even know if the last time I've been drinking anything with caffeine in it, to be honest with you. But yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, coffee tastes good. It's just, I know what's, I don't know. There's just better ways to wake up, to be honest. And I know what caffeine can do to you, so it's like, what the heck is the point even putting energy into caffeine anyway? Like, just earlier, speaking of waking up, just earlier when I was like almost falling asleep, basically, I just drank some water and now I'm perfectly fine. From one sip of water. Don't get me wrong, maybe like coffee, I think like probably once a month actually wouldn't be that bad. If you absolutely need caffeine for emergencies, then it's probably not that bad, but just don't make it a habit. Especially since especially if you're trying to lose weight, specifically for that, it doesn't help. Honestly, I wouldn't want to drink caffeine. My mind moves at a million miles per hour, so like, I really don't want to be honest. Jeez. Can't wait to figure out when I actually try to figure out my sleep schedule once and forever. I didn't even really have a sleep schedule during school. It was pretty bad. Um, like it was so bad I literally knew when to take naps in class or in certain classes because honestly I didn't care that much. I could literally just listen to the teacher and then just kind of regurgitate it back, or kind of regurgitate it back. Depends on the class. Luckily, all of my harder classes were at the end. Actually, one of them wasn't, but to be honest here, I knew it was not that hard though. Even if you get a bad grade, it's not like it's into the world for some reason. People think it is. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you really thinking grades are that actually important? What am I doing? Did anybody ever try to water fast before? Because I want to kind of tempted to try one, to be honest. Human heat is kind of annoying, not gonna lie. To be fair, I've never actually been in dry heat though, so I can't really say much. I heard the first day is pretty horrible, but the next days actually aren't that bad. Makes sense, third day. I think the people who would be bad at fasting are SI users, to be honest with you. Or at least high SI users. I would probably be one of the best at fasting, to be honest with you. As long as I just focus on something, I'll be fine. To be fair, sometimes I forget to eat anyway, so I mean, like, yeah. It's like I'm basically a natural faster. I mean, yeah, but like if you don't have any anorexia, then I'd be probably one of the best at it, to be honest. That is as long as I focus on something else. Don't get me wrong, it would be fairly easy to want food, considering I'm all about what I want. Obviously, in a hero. But if I could just focus on other things that I want instead of focusing on that, I could literally just like not care. if you want your abs to start showing, just do cardio and do like body weight exercises. Climbing, I did not realize how much of a body weight exercise climbing was. My god, you have no idea. Do like climb rope and stuff like that. My god, literally it's amazing. Like I may have to start climbing more often. Like climbing rope and stuff like that. It is amazing for full body weight workout. Like if you just want a full-fledged body workout, just do climbing. Good luck with it though. What's up, Crystal? Also, Rafi, didn't you say you were really short though as well? Imagine if I mined this entire section without getting rid of the water. You know how weird that would be? Like seriously, think about that for a second. Like, imagine if I mined all of this down to bedrock without getting rid of the water. It'd be so weird. And a pain to clean up as well. I'm 5'11" and I'm 150. I dropped down to 149 one time, but I was at 155, I think. To be fair, in high school I was 170. Now I'm 155. Dang, you're 6'2", and you're 153. I mean, that's not that much shorter than me, but still. I think I actually have a friend that's the exact same. Well, you were actually very skinny, actually, considering I have a friend that's basically a twig, and is 6'1" or something like that, is 150 something, 6'2". Actually, I have two friends that are like that, which is kind of funny. They're actually very similar. To be fair, it depends on your body type as well. Your body type kind of defines Somewhat. I mean, obviously it's more natural, depending on body type. Oh my god, I have a friend that's I think he's 5'10" or 5'9", and he's like 120. What the heck? It's crazy. Like, there's a point of being too skinny, right? I hope that person doesn't try to keep that weight for years on end, because I don't think that's that healthy to keep that kind of weight for that height, to be honest with you. Dude, there's a point of being too skinny. Like, seriously. To be fair, this guy was naturally 120 though. Like, this guy doesn't even try to lose weight and he's 120. He's 5'10". Honestly, when you're that skinny though, almost everything shows, to be honest. At least in terms of muscle tone. Okay, good. Thank God. I was like, what's up, Cameron? Doing pretty well, Cameron. Like, body type really does affect the structure. Honestly, I don't really see the point in actually building muscle. I mean, there's a point of like, I mean, I guess building muscle, but like being toned and stuff like that is much better than just trying to gain muscle in general. Like, to be honest here, I gain muscle, but it's very, very slow. I think that was only one time I actually had a tiny gut, but like that went away very quickly because of cross country. Like, very quickly. It was like in 8th grade or something like that. Yeah, that went away in like a month. Maybe not even, to be honest. I could still run really well though. It didn't. I don't think it affected me that much at all. But it's the only time I actually like somewhat lost weight or gained some weight. Um, Sub combo. I would highly recommend looking up your body type though. It's definitely interesting. I think it's mesomorph, endomorph, and ectomorph. I think those are the 3 body types. So PGH. Okay, I can go to frequently asked questions. I still recommend looking at your body type though. Like mine, I think it's mesomorph. I think that's my body type. I'm pretty sure on that one. Like, just based off of general understanding of it. I know you can do all those measurements and stuff like that, but generally it's just a shape. I think ectomorph is the skinny, like super skinny. Or is it endomorph? I don't know which one it was, I forgot. Maybe it's ecto, I think. It's just the shape of your like shoulders mainly compared to your waist or something like that. Maybe not waist, more like abs or whatever. That means we can gain muscle pretty quickly in general. square body type, basically, all around. It's all about the shape of your body. No matter your height, like totally no matter your height, it just depends on. I think taller people are more likely to be like ectomorphs though, so there's that. I'm not saying all, obviously not all. Wait, what? Grab your thumb? What? Grab your thumb and end it in your index finger and wrap it around your wrist? What the heck do you mean wrap it around your wrist? It's literally just the shape of your shoulders compared to your like waist and abs, stuff like that. You know, like the, I forgot what it's called, the that side of your, you know, that part of your body, I guess. I still really don't know what you mean. What's up, Mad Pillow Toffee? What do you mean around your wrist? I just don't get it. What's up? Shrump supports Anon. I still really don't know what you mean. What do you mean wrap? What do you mean wrap around the wrist? Oh, wait a minute. I know what you mean, never mind. It's really close. I don't see how this has to do with being a, oh, middle finger. Oh yeah, I could do that easily. Okay, maybe not easily, but I mean, it's still pretty simple. I'm about to say, like, how the heck can you even do that? I understand now. I think I know what you mean. Is it just bone density? Is that what it's testing? I can do it on both wrists. I have respiration 3 and it's peaceful. Oh yeah, it's like, how do you even do that with your index? Oh my god, index finger. Wouldn't somebody's hand, like finger, what is it called? The finger length kind of affect that though? Does finger length really equate to your body type? Like, I understand, like, it's probably testing bone density, but I can, like, reach almost past my nail. Okay, I've actually had two pretty, bad injuries. I've never actually broken anything, which is crazy considering how bad these injuries were. They're simple injuries. They're not like anything, anything too uh, complicated. Pretty much one of them was I was practicing and I jumped forward. See how far I could jump, and I turned sideways and I rolled my ankle and it's pretty bad. I sprained it. The pain actually wasn't that bad until later on. It just kept getting worse and worse, but it wasn't excruciating at the beginning. But the second one was so much worse. Like way worse in terms of just excruciating pain. God, it just makes me just thinking about it again. Pretty much me and my friend were running down a hill. It was a very weird hill because it was sloped multiple times, so it wasn't one slope down. It was like sloped and then leveled out and then sloped again, leveled out. It was like waves. And I may have slipped and literally some ash face. Sorry, not face. Oh god, that would have been bad. I literally fist bumped a. Imagine fist bumping. I was running pretty fast too. So since I've done plenty of. I'll explain that later, but I was running pretty fast, and I wouldn't say it was a full-fledged sprint, but let's just say I fist bumped a concrete sidewalk. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't break anything there. Luckily, my hand hit. If my jaw or face would have hit, probably would have been much worse, to be honest. Like, I'm actually kind of glad my hand hit, because I think if my face would have hit, it would have been so much worse. I still didn't break anything. I don't know how. Imagine running up to a concrete wall and just punching it. That's pretty much what I did. Full force, too. Like, that's the only thing that hit, was that one hand. I almost passed out from the pain. jeez. It's pretty bad. Those are probably my worst injuries, to be honest. Yeah, pretty much. Falcon punch into concrete, yes. It's pretty much what it was. Just on the ground. It was on the ground, sliding into it. It's pretty much what it was. Ooh. I mean, I think the closest thing I've had to like actually truly injuring myself like really badly was also I really thought I broke it because my entire hand went numb when that happened as well. Which is not what happened when I sprained my ankle. Just saying that right now. I really thought I broke it, but I didn't. Very surprisingly. It was mainly my index finger. It was the tendon from my index finger into my wrist or something like that. Yeah, probably not a good idea. What's up, Zachary? I am working on the last section before I hit 50% of mining my entire world. I can't believe it's only been 2 hours. I feel like if we've been doing this for longer, to be honest. I don't even know if conditioning knuckles would actually help on something like that. That was a really fast fall. Like, I was running pretty fast too. Like, I wasn't running slow. It definitely wasn't full speed whatsoever, but geez. And it hit only my index finger. All that pressure went onto mainly the index finger. I'm really surprised I didn't break my index finger. It actually, the pain came back like 3 weeks later for some reason. Rip. Honestly, running at full speed actually takes some kind of finesse because it's very easy to mess up running at full speed. Especially for people who aren't that into running. Maybe not really finesse, it just takes control. It's all about control, to be honest. Jeez. Can't even imagine. Like, I'm not really that slow whatsoever. Like, I could pretty much do almost everything in running. Oh, it rained? You could have mentioned that. Running full speed in the rain? My god, that takes way more control than just running it normally. Yes, I am speed. Usually 3.5 hours or so, generally. Generally speaking, that is. Sometimes longer. I mean, I've already spent probably 3 hours on this anyway today, so it's probably closer to 6 hours today. Maybe not 3 hours actually, more like 2 hours. Because don't forget, I don't do this stuff completely on stream. I do it off stream as well. This is just the best time to stream, to be honest. How many of these do I actually have left? 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Also, that's gonna trigger me, kinda. 6, 7, 38. 68. 68 more of these. 68 more of these. God. I do not have cheats in this world. This world is purely survival. And I actually used to have a friend help me, but he couldn't join after the 2 million. Something like that. I think he didn't. I don't think he could have joined by. I think it was the 2 million, even though he didn't actually join that often when I started this project, which was like at around 1 million so blocks. I think 1 million was when he kind of didn't join that often. He joined fairly frequently before I hit 1 million, and then he just couldn't join after a certain point. To be fair, he didn't. He even admitted himself he wouldn't be able to keep up with this project. That isn't really too surprising though, considering this project on its own is pretty devastating for anybody actually. Even with a ton of willpower, this project still is very brutal in almost every sense possible. Even with a lot of perseverance, this project still is insane. I actually do. I have 1 puppy, 1 dog, and a cat. Well, I mean, they aren't exactly mine, but they are. No, it's good, don't worry. I'm just considering doing the solo anyway, so. Thank you, Tyrone, for the $5 donation. You won't be able to see it, but I said it anyway. Because it's not on Super Chats for some reason. I don't think I've actually seen a road made of cobblestone. Artsy Zachary. Also, if anybody's new here, if you want to join Patreon, or there's also Discord in the description if you want to join that. But if you want to join Patreon, it's at the very bottom, and you get your name in the wall, either on the wall or on a beacon that I'm gonna light at the end of the project. If you want to join that, you can. Obviously, you don't have to stay in Patreon if you don't want your name. I mean, I could literally just put, just pay and then just leave if you wanted to be honest with you. I've never personally done that before. I've never had that feeling where a word doesn't become a word. Oh god, I hope I don't keep saying it. It takes a lot, honestly. If somebody told me a word, oh my god, if somebody told me a word over and over again, then maybe. I've never actually had that happen to me though, surprisingly. It's really weird though because if you say a word over and over again, you start getting weird interpretations of the word. It's really strange to be honest. I hope I can hit 200 by tonight. I want to hit 200, but I really don't think I'll hit 200. Probably gonna be streaming for 30 more minutes. Almost exactly 30 minutes from now, actually. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hit 200, but I'll definitely hit it by tomorrow. I want to actually finish this section in like 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy to think about, but it should take like, I think a month probably to do this section. If I can finish in 2 weeks, that'd be crazy. Honestly, I want to finish this. I want to finish this section oh my god, when the time lapse comes out. Pretty much. I kind of forgot what I was doing on the rant thing. I've seen some of the madness, I'm pretty sure, in the server. Yeah, I completely forgot what I was gonna rant about ranting on the wrong things. That's pretty much all it was. It was gonna be about ranting. It was about ranting about how people rant about the wrong things. I forgot completely what it was though. Why did we make two general chats? That's what I'm wondering. Why are two general chats made a thing? Why is that a thing? Hard to see it, Brayden. Like, I think this is the longest time I've went without a break from this project. The most consistent I've been in this project since ever, actually. Except for maybe the beginning of the project. I could argue that. Maybe around 1 to 4 million, I think, would be probably one of my most consistent. Maybe. I could tell a little bit more about typing. I guess I can talk about relationships between two types, or how types actually shoot. Wait, what was it about? It was something about dynamics between two people. Dang, what was it about? It was something I remember seeing. Hmm. Don't actually know what really else to talk about with typing. I've expelled most of it, to be honest. I guess I can talk about childhood of each of the types, or at least attempt to. Um, or like how their subconscious actually comes out in children and stuff like that. So when it comes to children, usually you're unconscious. Usually they're never really in their ego very often. Generally they're in their unconscious and subconscious, and it doesn't really solidify until adolescence. But when it comes to aspirational, like since you're subconscious, your aspirational type, generally um, generally that's what you want to become is your subconscious type. It's like you're literally your aspirational type. Um, it comes out mainly obvious. SJs are kind of the exception to some degree. Um, but generally, you kind of want to like. So like a perfect example is like mine Kilo's subconscious type. My type ESDP, pretty much an adrenaline junkie type. I know when I was very young, I wanted to be a race car driver. Out of all of them, out of all of that, out of all the things. And then Kilo said he wanted to be an architect, which is building, with like very SE. So it's yeah, just makes sense. With ESFP or subconscious, or certain other types like INFPs with their TE inferior usually want to become higher status types of jobs and stuff like that. SJs are kind of the exception to some degree. Usually they want to become more of a, or at least let's just say like at the very young age, I think they want to become more of their subconscious, but usually society kind of sways them towards more responsible or honor of jobs like firefighters and stuff like that, military. What else is there? SPs actually don't really change too much when it comes to typing because it's mainly because SPs have NJ subconscious. So they're usually not. The only exception to that are probably ISFPs that I've noticed. Since they have ENTJ subconscious, they want to have that status as well, same as INFPs, except for it's more of a business thing more than just having a job of management or just higher status in general. What other types? I can't really think of another type, like example for another type. Oh wait, I can actually talk about how depression actually affects people. I can actually talk about how depression actually affects why it affects like teens more than normal, more than other types of people. Obviously, societal pressures, that's one. That could be one. It's more of an influence than actually a causation, though. What causes it is, okay, so it starts with your ego. That's what first starts developing in your adolescence. finally you get into a mature side of your mind through your ego. And then the next side that actually develops is your superego, because it's still a primary, because your subconscious and unconscious are both secondary sides of your mind. They're like last resort. Sorry, not last resort. Technically, superego is last resort. They're just more like, if this isn't going to turn out with my ego, then I have to use my subconscious or unconscious. If it's last minute stuff, though, if it's last minute, generally you enter your side of your mind more chaotically, which obviously is not good. Another one is, obviously it's both sides of your mind as well. It could influence. So when it comes to superego, the superego kind of wants to destroy the ego. It thinks the subconscious is arrogant, the unconscious is foolish, and it thinks the ego is irresponsible. The thing about the superego is that it's so powerful that since the other sides of the mind aren't really too developed by like 14, 15, or like not even 14, 15, by just adolescence, by that general age, generally speaking, wait. The subconscious is, or superego is so powerful that it can actually, it kind of, in a way, yeah, it wants to become the ego, and it's one of the things where it's like people want to take the expedient route towards their problems, which is their superego. Like, if you don't want to take the expedient route, if you want actually a meaningful way to develop yourself, don't use your superego, which is like generally bursts of energy. It literally like almost can reset your life. It's so incredible. It's literally the human condition comes from it. Like, it's the soul thing of the human condition. It's yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like it just can't handle this. The sides of the mind can't handle the super ego that well, and certain types can develop depression easier than other types. Obviously it depends on their type, but generally speaking. Because they resort to their superego without consciously knowing what that is, and resorting to it instead of going into their subconscious or unconscious or even trying to develop with their ego. They go straight into their superego. Because obviously they want that power behind the superego, but it's not developed enough to become a wise decision. Because the soul, pretty much the soul is disintegrated, or the brain itself is technically disintegrated into the four sides, and how to become enlightened, which what is called is pretty much you become enlightened once you, which to be honest here, there's no actual destination when it comes to enlightenment. It's just constant improvement. Your soul is disintegrated into those four pieces, and you have to reintegrate all four sides of the mind. Any person can do this, no matter what type they're. It's just you just have to know your type. I would totally argue it would be my type or it's an INTP. I would have to say it's both of those. I'm not saying other types can't develop depression. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, those two types. It's INTPs, IN, even like ESFJs can technically become really depressed. It's usually FI user or FE users actually become technically more depressed than FE users or FI. FE users become more depressed by default because they have FI in their unconscious, which is negative. What's up, Rob? I would totally say yes. Yeah, those types. It's what's another one I think I can talk about? I was gonna mention something earlier. Oh yeah, so pretty much how to get into that angelic superego is what it's called, instead of demon, instead of it being demonic like usual. So TCG? Not yet. Almost. Oh, first mention. Like zoned out for a second there. Still zoned out again. God dang it. I'm so focused on doing this. What was I mentioning? Oh yeah, how to get angelic superego. Pretty much how to get it is you have to develop all three sides of your mind, the other sides of your mind. Pretty much you have to develop 4 types in your mind by yourself, generally. I mean, you can actually have other people develop, help you develop, because if you go with your golden pair, or at least near your golden pair, you can actually accelerate the way, you can accelerate your types. Like, I'm not kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. Well, I have no idea what I'm talking about actually. What I was no. Oh my god, what I was gonna mention. Okay. Yeah, it kind of is like a video game achievement, to be honest. It's more like constant improvement. It's just how to reach it. It's just constant improvement. So pretty much, if you have you can even have your subconscious near you, to help you with your fear. Like I literally have myself ego. I have my subconscious, unconscious, and super ego near me. Not near me, but like close to me. It's kind of crazy. I could technically learn how all 4 sides of my mind actually act. Sort of. Obviously, they have different attitudes, but it's really cool seeing that, if that makes sense. And if you're wondering how to develop each of the sides of the mind, you technically just develop the parent function of each of the sides. which is the parent function, the child function, sorry, the parent function of the ego, the child function of the ego, the critic function, and then I think it's the uh, trickster function. Yeah, because it's the parent function of superego. I don't know about the superego that much when it comes to developing it. I think you have to develop just the parent function, though, generally speaking. You can't really enter it that well until you develop all three sides of the mind, though. At least you can't enter it well. You can't enter it to that. You can't enter it in an angelic state, I guess, what you can call it. Also, I'm in the stream in like 5 minutes, so. I almost hit 200. Oh, you're good, don't worry. So yeah. That's pretty much how you develop yourself. Why do you think, like, older people, I guess, in general, are usually wiser? Generally spit wisdom a lot because of that unconscious state. Usually, they finally went through their 3-quarter life crisis, which is how you get through them naturally. It's how you get through them naturally is through quarter life crisis is your ego, personal responsibility. Ego, subconscious is midlife crisis. This is the most common one you see. Why do you think people buy things and stuff like that to make them happy? It's because subconscious is a source of your happiness and your cognition. But yeah, that's why midlife crises occur. And then there's the third life crisis, 3-quarter life crisis. I mean. Yeah, how to develop unconscious is literally just like life experience, to be honest with you. That's the main one. It's just foolishness versus wisdom. But yeah, it's that 3-quarter life crisis. That's why they're so be seen as very wise generally. And how to finally unlock the superego naturally. It's literally like I think by the end of death or something like that. I don't really know actually. I don't understand how that one works when it comes to development. I think it's just after the subconscious. It's sorry, after the unconscious. After the unconscious, then you can finally go into your superego, which is like 70, like mid 70s, even early 60 or late 60s, I think. Like I had an ISTP, I think it was an ISTP coach. It's amazing guy. His ENFJ subconscious was literally like through the roof, to be honest with you. Like I've never seen such a developed subconscious before. Pretty sure that was a subconscious. Could have been his unconscious actually. Possibly. Or what he was talking through was his unconscious, but pretty sure it was his subconscious though. Like, honestly, I'm pretty sure if somebody typed him, he probably could have been actually an INFJ. To be perfectly honest with you. That's how developed his subconscious was. It was crazy. I mean, I'm not saying you can't balance both your subconscious and unconscious. It's just where you pour your energy at is either your subconscious or unconscious. You're either one of those focused. You can develop both at the same, or maybe not at the exact same time, but you can switch between both pretty quickly if you want to. Or you can just go full subconscious or full unconscious. Can you imagine how many squids I'm gonna have by the end of this? Imagine the squid farm I could make out of this. Imagine what kind of farms I can make out of this on any animal, to be honest. Alright, I'm gonna go into the stream now. I'm gonna see how many. Wait, before I do that, I'm gonna look how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46. I'm just gonna mention. It's so easy for me to whisper, to be honest with you. It's actually harder for me to talk normally than it is to whisper. That's how quiet my voice is sometimes. Like, it's actually harder for me to talk normally. I actually have to put energy into talking normally. Alright, see you guys.